Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone for teaching me the truth on the Princess Achilles. And I'd like to give a salutation to the Akim and Aqua listening and studying to start ourselves approved. This is Brother Bayan from the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hebrew Israelite Camp, coming back to you with another quick lesson. And this pretty much just a quick lesson based on this article that I got out of the group chat. My Octay Yasserala put it in the group chat. And before I go into this article, we're gonna read Micah chapter 2 and 10. All right, because it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction." Okay, so when you see this article, which we go ahead and go into it now. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, does not like you, Jay. Okay, they do not want anything to do with you. All right, they looking for ways to kill you anytime they want. Okay, and this is why we tell you America, aka Babylon the Great, is not a resting place for the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans. Why? Because the laws here in America does not benefit you. Okay, and you're gonna see that when we read in this article. Okay, so the title of this article says, "I just blew that nigga's head off." All right, you know, of course the article, as you can see on the screen, it said "in head off." Okay, so, and it says 3 men face sentencing in black man's murder. All right, so reading on, it says sentencing is underway for 3 men who pleaded guilty in the murder of a black man in Jacksonville, Florida, per Action News. And it says the 3 men, Ryan Nichols, Daniel DeGuardia, and Holden Doxson, were arrested after the body of Gary Jackson, 39, found behind a dumpster in May 2023. Okay, so this was last year. Okay, and then it says on the night of Jackson's murder, Doxson testified during a sentencing hearing that he, Nichols, and DeGuardia were drinking and doing cocaine before heading downtown. And it says at one point during the night, Nichols took off and chased Jackson. Okay, and it says Nichols returned to the car and accused Jackson of stealing his gun, according to Doxson and DeGuardia. DeGuardia testified that Nichols told him where to drive. Once the group found Jackson, DeGuardia said Nichols took Doxson's gun and pursued Jackson. Nichols did say something along the line of, "I know where you're hiding. You're about to get shot," DeGuardia said. Nichols allegedly shot Jackson several times behind the dumpster. He returned to the car and the 3 men drove away. Nichols said, "I just blew that nigga's head off." Was one the thing that was said, and nobody steal from me. Almost bragging, Doxson said. Nichols pleaded guilty of second-degree murder. Okay, so we're gonna go and get the definition of second-degree murder. All right, and it says Doxson and DeGuardia pleaded guilty to accessory after the fact. All right, so, and here's another thing. This is further proving the point that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans does not have the law of America, aka Babylon the Great, that's going to back you, that's going to benefit you. But you see who it benefits, and it benefits these Edomites, the so-called white men. Okay, so we already know these are 3 white men, and the fact that he got second-degree murder, which it tells you right there, you know, and it tells you who basically benefit in this society and who don't. And it definitely ain't the so-called Negroes, Latino, and Native American. All right, and reading on in this article, it says last week Nichols was sentenced to 40 years in prison. DeGuardia and Doxson are set to be sentenced during a follow-up hearing. Jackson family had urged the judge to hand down a maximum sentence. 3 monsters against 1 black man. They chased my uncle down, Jackson's niece. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that. And I'm going to just say Annie Johnson. Okay, I can't even pronounce that. But anyway, And it said the Black Information Network is your source. Okay, so you pretty much got the point of the article, right? So these devils gonna have to pay, all right. But the fact of the matter is, this man got 40 years. Granted, that's somewhat of a justice, but if it was a Jake, he would have got a death penalty. Okay, so real quick, let's go do a quick Google search real quick, and I just looked this up. Second degree murder's meaning. All right. And right here it says second degree murder is the intentional killing of another person without premeditation. Okay? So when you look up premeditation, and it says the action of planning something, especially a crime, beforehand. Alright? So like, hold on, let me go back. And so when you go into this, you said second degree murder is the intentional killing another person without premeditation or recklessly acting in a way that creates a grave risk of death. The intent of the killer determines the degree of murder. And here go an article based on second degree murder. Right? And it says second degree murder or your second degree murder, manslaughter is still a very serious crime, but it is a step down in severity when compared to the first degree. In general terms, second degree murder is one that doesn't have any kind of premeditation and may only have been intended to cause harm rather than death. Okay, so when you go up to the top of this article, it explains first degree murder. Okay, as stated earlier, first degree murder often has some of the strongest punishment, and this can be a big difference between first and second degree murder. In California, the punishment for this crime is death or imprisonment in the state prison for life without the possibility of parole, provided certain factors are met. Okay, so when you go into this article and you see it was clearly premeditated. Okay, right here in this article, it was clearly premeditated, man. There's no way it was not premeditated, because he chased this man. All right. Chased this man down the street. So it was premeditated. It was planned it out. Because even when they drove after the Jake, you know, it was a plan there. Right here, it said DeGuardia testified that Nichols told him where to drive. Premeditated right here. Once the group found Jackson, DeGuardia said Nichols took Docton's gun and pursued Jackson. Okay, premeditated. Nichols did say something along the line, "I know where you're hiding. You're about to get shot." Okay, and he said DeGuardia said Nichols allegedly shot Jackson several times behind a dumpster. He returned to the car, and the three men drove away. All right, that's premeditated. That was planned out. Okay, so the fact that the judge still ruled it and charged him second degree murder, that's to tell you that these Edomites, this is the white man's society, man. Okay, so if it was the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, especially the so-called Negroes, they would have got the death penalty, man. They would have got life. Okay, and no, I actually did a lesson about that on a different case, entirely different case on that same, going on that same subject, and the Jake actually got the death penalty. Okay, here in Oklahoma. All right, so like you know, that's just to prove the point. But let's go ahead and get to the scripture. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 73, and we're starting at verse 5. Okay, and it says, "They are not in trouble as other men," right here, and it said, "Neither are they plagued like other men." All right, and this is so spot on. Again, the so-called black man would get the death penalty, or he would get life without parole. But this Edomite right here, All right. Matter of fact, let's see if let's see, because it was Ryan Nichols. Let's see if we got a picture of him. And they ain't gonna show that name on here. Okay. Let's see real quick. See if we put his name in Google and see if his image will pop up. Salaki, let me see. I'm trying to do second-degree murder. Yeah, here we go. Edomites, right here. All right. All three of them, Edomites. Looking right at them. All right, so we got a picture of them. Okay, so they some definitely Edomites, and the fact that he got second-degree murder after chasing a man down, which it was premeditated, should have got first-degree murder. Okay, so going back and reading the scripture, this is Psalm 73 and verse 5. And he said, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And he said, therefore pride compassed them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. All right, so this man got 40 years in prison. So, and from the look of things, I'm looking at what I'm looking at. It said the dude is 19 years old. So he's going to be able to get out on his crime at the age of 59. And knowing how the system works, they can get out. He can get out in half of that time, if just based on good behavior. Okay. So, again, this is, and let that be a Jake. It would not happen. All right, he wouldn't have. As a matter of fact, there's a possibility of parole since he got second-degree murder. Okay. Verse 8, Psalm 73 and 8, and he said, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. They set their mouth against the heaven, and their tongue walk through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and water of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, how doeth Yahweh know, and is their knowledge in the Most High? Okay, so these people, they pride, they have an arrogant, they have a God complex, and they so pride that they don't think the Heavenly Father is not going to come back and punish them. And it said, verse 12, behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world, they increase in riches. Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hand in the innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastening every morning. And this is going back to this is King David, pretty much in the same spirit of the Hebrew Israelites, because the Hebrew Israelites, they get chastened. All right, we can't go out and do the same wickedness as these other heathens. All right, just like Esau Edom. We basically, a black man, so-called black man, commit that same crime, he would have got the death penalty. Okay, and this is pretty much what King David is talking about right here. All right, in verse 15, he said, for I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So King David asked why. You know, why is it all of a sudden, why these damn heathens get away with the amount of wickedness, but when I do the same wickedness, why am I getting punishment? Okay, why is my punishment? Okay, in verse 17, he said, then understood I therein. Surely thou didst set them in a slippery place, thou castest them down into destruction. Okay, so that's pretty much their end. Esau Edom is not going to be able to be in its high place. All right, eventually America, aka Babylon the Great, is going to be destroyed. Now, matter of fact, let's go back and get another quick precept that lines up perfectly with this, man. Because was it Amos chapter 3 and pretty much verse 2? Okay, because it says you. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, hear this word that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has spoken against you, O children of Israel. Okay, who the children of Israel? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquity. Okay, so when you go back and you read Psalm 73, what was it, about the 15th verse, right? Verse 14, Psalm 73 and 14, he said, for all the day long I have been plagued and chastening every morning. Okay, and that pretty much that lines up perfectly right there, because every time King David went off, the Lord punished him. Okay, and that punishment, it was a chastening, it was a correction. All right, the Lord said, you know better. All right, only you have I known, so I'm gonna punish you for your sins and your iniquity. And it's the same thing for the whole nation of Israel. Okay, but for these other nations, the Lord is like they're like spittle. Okay, so that's just another point right there. But these devils have always had that perpetual hatred, which is that's another precept that came to mind, which is Ezekiel the 35th chapter, which I had it pulled up over here. All right, so this is Ezekiel chapter 35. And we'll go ahead and start at the top, because it said, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And Mount Seir is pretty much Esau Edom, so-called white man. Okay? And say unto it, thus said the Lord Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. When you go into that word desolate, it's basically saying devastation, waste, desolation. Okay? Quick definition of desolation. And it said a state of complete emptiness or destruction. Okay? So that's what the Lord is about to do to these damn devils. Okay? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right, verse 4. And it said, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And here's the reason why. And he said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Okay? When you go into that word perpetual, and it says long duration, iniquity, futurity, forever, everlasting, evermore. Okay? You go quick definition, Google definition of perpetual. And it says never ending or changing, occurring repeatedly so frequently as it seemed endless and uninterrupted. Okay, so there's always been a persecution against the children of Israel. All right. Okay, so reading that again from the top, Ezekiel 35 and 5, and it said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and in the time of their calamity, and in the time that their iniquity had an end. All right, and so that's another cut to these devils. So they about to get they just due. and that time is get ready to come. Okay, but in this article, I just wanted to show, because I just recently did another lesson where this Jake woman was pretty much shocked that it's still racism here in America. Okay, and this is another furthermore proof that the devil does not like the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so you should be aware. Okay, so what's this? Let's go read that Psalm 73 again, right? Which is pretty much it pretty much will draw the point home even further, man, because these devils they don't have a lot of time left, man. All right, so all right, let me go hit this Psalm 73 again. It's not loading up like it should. All right. Okay, so Psalm 73 and 17 again, it's a King David. He said, "Until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh outside and understood I therein. Surely thou set them in a slippery place, thou cast them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation, as in a moment they are utterly consumed with terror." You see? And it says, "As a dream when one waketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. So foolish was I and ignorant, and I was as a beast before thee. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand." Okay? And so Yasharala, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we got the victory, all right? But this right here, this article is just further proving that these devils do not like you, and you should be aware of them at all times, man, okay? And so whenever they commit a crime against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, this is their home. This is their place. The law is only benefiting them, okay? So you should expect every time that they're going to get a lighter sentence compared to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? So, that was just a quick lesson, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. With that, I'm going to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth, 100% securely. Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.